Welcome to the tutorial for my coaching software. I just want to give you big thanks for taking the time to check out the software. And the goal of this software is hopefully to make your coaching of esports a lot more organized, make your life a lot easier. So let's dive right into how you can start trialing the software, and then any feedback you've got is very much appreciated. So first of all, to get started, the executable or the software will be shared with you via Google Drive. So if you pass us your email, if you get in touch with me on Twitter at amgunspc, I can share with you the trial, which will be lasting till the end of June. And then once you have it, you can then download it to your PC. As you can see, I'm keeping it in a folder called Coaching Software Demo. And as well as it's more than likely to be in your best interest to create a folder called images. So that way, if you create any diagrams, screenshots with drawings on them, or anything like that for your coaching, you can upload them into that images area. So that way they're very easy to find when it comes to uploading them into the software itself. So now that you've got it downloaded, you've got an images folder. Let's get into the different views of the application. So as you can see on the screen now, we'll start with the internal view. So this is designed for if you're a coach or analyst and you're an analyst and you're looking to evaluate how your own team is doing. That's what this view is for. This view is centered around themes, which are generally qualitative concepts that you want to track for your team. So in this case, you can see we've got a few examples on the left. We've got bad positioning, bad communication, bad problem solving, and we just made a silly move. So these are things you'd be looking to improve on and keep track of. That way you can see if your team is improving in those aspects. For each of these themes, you can add matches to keep track of when and how your team is doing these things. So you can see in the example of bad positioning, we've used our anchors on site were out of position and our roamers did not roam the good areas of the map. So these are the things that we were keeping an eye on. And the beauty of this software is you can make this to be whatever you would like to apply for your esports. So the matches, you can title them whatever you like. So you can add in different themes to have some on the left. And then for each theme, you can add a match. So the title of the match, you can put if it was a scrim, what map you played on, you can enter the date of the match. You can even put your opponents' names in here. So that way, if you want to search for those particular opponents later on, that can be done as well. And then for each of the matches, you can then enter the rounds in which this theme happened. So for example, if you're tracking the bad positioning, you would put the round number, you can put any description or notes of what player was out of position, or what went wrong that you want to show to the team. If you're VOD reviewing, you then have the option to paste a YouTube link to the timestamp as well of when that round mistake took place. And then if you click on the YouTube link, which would render alongside the notes, it will then open up to that timestamp inside of Google, which is really cool. So that way, it's a really nice way to keep all of your VOD review notes organized as you're watching the team, which is really nice. The other thing that makes this really good compared to using a Google Drive, for example, is you also have the quick entry area. So any notes that you add into your match data will populate the quick entry area. So that way, if your players are making the same mistakes, it's very easy just to click on whichever quick entry you want to duplicate. So for example, if we wanted to add a match for bad positioning, we can just click on bad positioning, click on the match that we've added, which auto-populate the data for us. We can add a round number of our choice, and then we can just choose a quick entry to add in more match data. So the idea is where you'd normally be writing in a Google Doc or in a notepad, this is basically replicating that to make things a lot more organized. So rather than having to hunt through lots and lots of Google Docs to see which notes we needed and how we're improving, it's all in one place for you, and it's now searchable too. The other really good thing about this qualitative data is we also now have a graph view as well. So you can see on the screen here, we have 4 graphs to choose from, and we can set these to be all of the different graphs, or all the different themes I should say, that we have so far. So you can see for bad positioning, as time's gone worse, as time's gone on, the average of this theme happening has gone up. So we have, as a team, not done as well in this area. was when it comes to bad communication, we started at having 8 instances as an average. So you can see day by day it's gone down, which is really good. So it shows we've made progress as a team. And then for bad problem solving, we have stayed exactly the same. This gives you a really nice, quick, and easy way to be able to see how your team is doing in all of these different aspects and see if your team is making progress. So the idea is really easy representation just to see if your team is improving in these different aspects that you're keeping track of. Whereas before, it'd be really difficult to see that if you're using something like the Google Suite. The next area is the external view, which looks like this. This is designed for staff that are looking to do prep against their opponents. The idea is you can create a team, and then for each team, you can have a category that is relevant to that team. And again, this can be whatever you want. So using the drop down on the right, you can add a team, a category, or a point. So as you can see, we've got a couple of teams in the teams area. We've got BDS, G2, and Falcons. And you can see for BDS, we have an attacking, too long, didn't read. That should be TLDR. We have a defending equivalent, and then we have a couple of maps information as well. So this is currently for Consulate. Each category you create can have as many points as you would like. So I'm from a Siege background, so I've created a drone spots point, and I've told my team to look for these, and then you can upload images into the point. So once you've created a point, you can then use the choose images area, and you'll notice I'm in the coaching software demo folder under images, and then my image is there. So if you put all of your images into here, then it's really nice and easy to find. Then upload which images you want to upload to which points. Just keep in mind that you need to create the point first, and then you can upload an image to said point. Again, you can upload as many images as you like to each of the points, and it will nicely display them for you in this middle column. This can be combined really well with other tools your esport might have. I know, for example, for CSGO, there is many tools out there that can show you lots of different things. This tool is not to replace those, it's to work alongside them. So if you use other tools to conduct your analytics, so for example, if you use Liquipedia or you pull information from like the game APIs, once you've come to the different conclusions about your own team or external teams, you can then put that knowledge into this software so you can easily find that information again. Whereas you might keep it again in like Google Docs or in a notepad, it can be really difficult to find different things that you've recorded before or information that you have in your different areas. And that's where if you put it into something software like this, it's easily searchable. You can find it really easily. And it just means that information is more at your fingertips, which is really good. The other thing you might want to keep in mind is this internal view can also be given to players. So for example, we've given themes which are for a team perspective, and these can also be personal goals. So everybody in the team can have this software. As a player, you might have things like bad crosshair placement or bad ability usage, or I need to work on my nade lineups for a particular match, depending on what esport you're playing. And then that can really help players also improve themselves and keep an eye on which goals of their own personal goals they're looking to improve. So that's a quick introduction to the app. Something I'd like to also touch on is how to save the data. So the way this works is everything is saved locally to your machine, and it's saved to CSV files. So the way this would work is you can see I have a testing file selected called testing.csv. When you first run the application, you will not have any files in here. So you can select save new file, give yourself a file name. It doesn't really matter what you call it. The main thing is make sure you keep the file name ending in .csv. When you confirm that, it will then save the current state of the application into the file you've just created. And then you will be able to select that file. So we can even try that now if you like. So if I go testing2.csv, we can confirm that we get a save successfully. And you can now see we now have a testing2.csv. So that file will now reside on your local folder. You can see I've got 3 save files. This is particularly useful if you have multiple staff wanting to work on this together, you can each create your own save file and then keep it in something like the Google Drive. And in that way, if you download each other's documents, you can then contribute and create a new save file. You can add in the date as the title, so that way everyone knows that's the most up-to-date version of your code, if that makes sense, or the most recent save. There's a few different ways you can handle that, but that way, if you've got multiple people using the software, you can just download their save file, load it up into the application. As long as it sits in the same folder or any of the subfolders of where the application is stored, you should be able to access all of those save files from the menu. So this won't look any different as we've just saved the exact same thing as the previous one. But you can see you can switch between your different views. So for example, on the external view, demo data doesn't have any. If we switch back to testing, it is there, which is all good. So please give this a go. I hope you enjoy using the software. I hope you guys find it useful. And if there's any feedback or if you find any bugs, then please let me know through Twitter or Discord.